Howdy folks, apologies for the lack of any video content today. Unfortunately real life kind of caught up with me unexpectedly, but I figured that, well, in the little time that I do actually have available to making the video today, I could always upload the final part of the video documenting the visit to Wargaming's global headquarters in Cyprus at the beginning of the year. And this is pretty much going to carry on exactly from where we left off. It's a meeting with Victor Kisley, Wargaming CEO, and this is the final part of the video series. So again, apologies for the lack of a proper video today, but at the very least I can give you this. Hope you enjoy it.
But yeah, I mean, specifically in terms of the market saturation and growth, within Europe we also have differences in saturation, obviously. So the saturation in Poland is higher than the saturation is in Spain. Mm-hmm. So as you go through the regions, if you take this to the global level, it's an even more complex situation. The Asian market is a huge growth market for us. North America is still a huge growth market for us. Europe is still a huge growth market for us. So yeah. CIS, as Victor has explained, we're probably getting closer to saturation there more quickly, but in all the other markets, they will make up for that. They already do. So World of Tanks is still growing.
Let me just give you a philosophical, again, historical perspective. Lego. I do remember when I was a kid, in Soviet Union we did not have Lego. Maybe somebody going abroad could bring like a set or two. But then what was Lego? Lego was some kind of generic, how do you call this, constructor, right? And just blocks, you build a little car, a little lorry, a little house. That was it. And you had to go and search specific, it was not huge. And you had to go and search for Lego in very rare places. Today, Lego, as a father of 7.5-year-olds, since he was 3, Lego is everywhere. Lego is almost in every convenience store, in every airport, and what you would in marketing books they have this product saturation curve. If you open MBA, it says okay, the product takes off. There's early adopters. It goes up, then it peaks, plateau, and then goes down. This is the fade away of the product. I don't believe in this. Well, first of all those books are very old, and most of them are about some physical products, probably. Mm-hmm. Second of all, they don't take into consideration the transformation of genres like cameras. The cameras. They used to be those black and whites, and then they died off in general. Oh my God! No, they did not die off. They were just substituted by film. Those cameras where you had to put the one plate, and then they were just substituted. The photography as a time spent it increased. They happened to be film cameras, and then film cameras. I may be mistaken on some details. Mm-hmm. Just died off a little bit, not because of digital, and then digital now's cameras are taking hit, apart from top-notch professionals, because of mobile phones. So it depends on how you look at
cameras are still here, they just look different.
Yeah, people take more and more pictures in their lives than, let's say, 100 years ago. It depends on how you look at it and how, as a company, you can sense this and jump on the next wave. We, for example, as a company, from time to time, we send our people, management and a couple of levels of management, we send to like INSEAD or to Stanford for those special, MBA courses connected with, change, evolving, transformation, because this is business part. You need to look what's going on, and yeah, maybe 20 years from now, all the tanks will still exist, but in some kind of different form, which I don't know. Yeah, there's many examples with Xerox, with Kodak, with Swiss expensive watches and Casio, Japanese watches. Coming back to Lego, in essence, it's a very good example, I think. Again, I may miss some details, but the spirit and philosophy is here. Now you go into any shop and you see Lego Star Wars. Why? Smart people just bundle the building blocks with popular topic, which is Han Solo, Millennium, Luke Skywalker, and all those things. Good. So my son knew everything about Star Wars before seeing a single film. Why? Because I did not allow him to see, lengthy, TV, because it's long and a little bit too violent. But he knew everything about Luke, and it took me a hard time to explain to him that actually Darth Vader and Anakin, because he's fighting, good against bad. Evil, and the fight would happen between Darth Vader and Anakin, and it took this father-son moment, like, son, I have to tell you something. Like, sit down. This is actually one and the same person.
Yes.
That was a revelation. And then comes what else do they have? They have, bundled with films, Jurassic Park. They invented their own, like this Chima and stuff, the Transformers. They just made sure that for their consumers, these building blocks are more enjoyable. How? Okay, did the building blocks change much? No. Okay, there are a little bit more variety when it comes to sophisticated kind of forms, but the basics is that you have a plane and you have those bricks. It's bricks, right? And it's just they added more enjoyment that now your son is assembling not just a generic car, but a specific car. Or Lego City, they invented the universe, which is, by the way, our real-time life, where you have fire truck, you have prison break, you have whatever helicopters, you have rescue operation, you have zoo, and now your son is not just building a car, he's building the whole kind of city and plays with it meaningfully. So they did a bunch of tricks without changing the initial concept of building blocks, maintaining the top-notch quality of that plastic, which fits in and does not break and always fits in and looks nice and shiny and bright, and does not break, which is very important, and fits, which is also very important. Just adding a little bit of bells and whistles here and there and making a meaningful universe, and Ninja Turtles, whoever likes. They have these friends, this, girls kind of stuff where you have ponies and, Barbie style. They put time and effort, investments and risk into bringing this to life, and they're coming back. So if anybody tells me Lego is in decline, they should have been dead, like according to this NBA graph, they should have been dead like 10 years ago. No. The same, and okay, maybe this is the first time I said this, maybe definitely Minecraft is the reincarnation of Lego, and Lego should have done this before. Actually, they do bundle, but if I were Lego, I would probably have done this before.
Maybe they should start investing in Minecraft.
So when it comes to tanks and ships and everything, we still have a lot of, let's say, opportunities. Yes, if we kept the game like it was in the 2010, just 15 and 15 fight and that's it, we're trying to do things, new gameplay modes. Unfortunately, it's not easy to come up with a new one, right? Esports coming up, and we read in the news, even on Bloomberg, almost every day something is happening. Hiring the ESPN guy, and I visited in Berlin the finals of League of Legends. Absolutely fun, freaking tastic. Like amazing, mind blowing. What can I say?
Your own grand finals were pretty impressive last year. Yeah.
Well, you cannot compare. Yes. Yeah. So doing championships, doing this stuff, doing maybe some comic and cartoons for the kids. And my son said, "Hey, Father, why did not you do the games for kids, like less sophisticated? I understand because you teach me and everything, but my friends, they don't get it right away. Maybe some cartoonish tanks. Good idea, maybe. Well, but I'm against young people spending much time in front of LCD screen. This is not very good for your eyes. This does not apply for me and him playing Blitz." So we have a lot of opportunity, if you think about this, to do inside the game and around the game different things, turning it more into cultural phenomenon. And when I say this, it's not just greediness or corporate thinking. It's about bringing more happiness. We all know, if we're they are human beings, if you're part of something, if you're out for your national team or for your local club, is it enjoyable for you? Yes. Otherwise, you would not do this, because routing for Manchester United or Bavaria or whatever, Nicosia, Apoel is free. You can do it, or you can stop doing it any moment if you want. If you bring your son to the stadium and watch the game, even if it's here in Nicosia, it means it brings you some happiness, right? You spend some money on, probably you spend more on driving and parking and hustle to get there, in traffic jams than the ticket itself. It brings you happiness. That's how football does it. Starting from marriage of Beckham and Victoria Secret, Victoria Beckham, and why it made more enjoyable the together time spent in talking about football between men and women. Now they have something to talk about. Smart, yes. Cheesy, some people may say a little bit, but if you don't want to watch football because of this, stop watching football. But now, again, boyfriends and girlfriends, or husbands and wives, had something to talk about together. Good. And you can keep going with these examples. That's why I'm very optimistic about wargaming games, including old dinosaur World of Tanks. We have a lot of things we still can do to make it more enjoyable. We keep it free to play till the end of time. You like it? You like this enjoyment will bring you? Can you please do? And we'll keep doing this. And again, it's not going to be stock market or big, investment banker who will tell us what to do and when to stop, when to start. It's your viewers, our players, who will very explicitly tell us if we're doing things right or wrong by playing or not playing. Yeah. Pain comes automatically. I mean, we don't do demographics. It's statistical, certain percentage of whatever whales, smaller whales, and normal guys and like school kids who take out of their pocket monthly this couple of euros or a couple of dozens of euros. That's easy. That's part we don't worry about.
I would like to ask you about esports in World of Tanks. What do you think about current situation? Are you planning to develop it?
Yes, we need and we should. We have already invested a lot. To tell you that we're the best esports company on the planet, no. Definitely we have the shining example of League of Legends. However, we realized we don't necessarily need and we will not copycat just League of Legends style, okay? They're very different games, and very different audiences. The reason why we are, good, okay, not friends, but we're in good relationship with Brandon Beck. We shake hands and smile and just grab a cup of coffee from time to time, and I speak very positively about them at any occasion.
You're no real threat to each other.
Yeah, we just realized that our audiences are just very different. And when it comes to sports, the same. So you have to go to Berlin to see their audience and their teams and compare to just put together all the Tanks teams and League of Legends team, and they're from different planets. So it means that we have to find our own way into esports. Because the last couple of years, we made our first steps. Was it everything was perfect? No. Some impressive things? Yes, especially given just 2.5 years we were doing this. But now we realize that yes, we have to think harder. What we probably missed is that's our probably mistake, is somehow these formats, 7 tanks of 742, was so much different from the actual game. So all the tanks you play, all the tanks I play and you play, is very different from what you see on the stage.
Yeah, that's true.
Just, technically, objectively. And this is not good. So right now we're experimenting with tier 10s, and we're thinking about 15 and 15. It's not easy because esports has its own laws, its own ecosystem with sponsors, Samsung, this, that, with professional teams. You have to maintain this team. It's expensive to maintain this team. It's still very early. Everything is still very young. We're glad to be one of the pioneers of that. I think the following years will be very exciting, and we'll see many things of which we even cannot think now. Would you think 5 years ago that there's going to be this Mercedes-Benz Arena in Berlin or Staples Center in Los Angeles full of people watching like 10 Korean teenagers playing a computer game? Seriously? And a couple of millions watching it like real time?
Yeah.
Like you and I, if somebody told us this like 5 years ago, like, yeah, okay, maybe StarCraft in Korea, maybe, but like Germany, in America, in Russia, no. It is happening, and money is for it. This ecosystem is growing. This ecosystem is growing. So it's a part of our game. We need to treat it organically. I mean, like in the connection with the game itself. Root grass, kind of grassroots, kind of thing. So esports is not possible. It's not possible to make esports just sponsor, let's say, 20 or 50 teams, and that's it. It has to be coming from the bottom, right?
And so you're saying that you want the players to try harder for esports? Is that what you're saying?
We have to create
an environment for the players.
For them, to have easier access if they want, and more enjoyable viewership. Esports is also it's like entertainment on top of entertainment. You know, the game itself is entertainment, but esports, what is it? It's like people, millions of people watching other people entertaining themselves playing the game, by definition, right? It has to be entertaining. I gave you an example how not very entertaining our esports kind of was before, because there was another game nobody would play in the real World of Tanks live. We
It's
have
already
to bring
vast.
them easier. Like League of Legends doesn't have this problem.
No.
So it's the same game on stage and in real life. World of Tanks, we made this mistake. We need to correct that. On the other hand, well, the beauty of World of Tanks is 15 on 15. You
It's
know,
hard for esports.
and it's
That's a-
hard
that's super
logistically, but that's our problem. We need to find the solution for this problem.
Because you can watch an esports match of League of Legends, and if you play League of Legends, you know exactly what's going on and why it's happening. But if you play World of Tanks as much as you like, you watch a
I still believe it's
7v7.
random. People just click something, and sometimes they hit something, and sometimes something explodes.
Win rate is luck.
Yeah.
Thinking on the long term of the game, many people have the misconception because it's a World War II inspired game with tanks. They have the misconception that wargaming is starting to scrape the barrel in what they can introduce. The reality is there are so much tech trees, even from the most desirable ones. For example, a couple months ago, I'm in direct contact with many people that some of them actually even created the tech trees for the game. And there's so much new things. A couple weeks ago we found new British tanks that are actually quite interesting. But Wargaming at the beginning of last year, around that time, they promised that they will be introducing less premium tanks, and they only been pretty much introducing those except for the Czechoslovakian. And some of those premium tanks actually were possible future tech trees, which got killed because now they will be premium tanks. And in another way, in another subject, we are trying to give wargaming the information, but it seems like they are not wanting it. They are like closing the doors. It's kind of concerns me.
Thank you. 2 points. Well, first of all, we have to be especially now, we have to be very careful with new tanks and new trees, because there's a lot of tanks. It's just not very easy
Yeah.
to just keep them. For myself, I don't know all the tanks. It's a kind of a trap. Like philosophically, for a MMO company, you know, smart business people would say it's all about content. Okay, you have a good game, just now throw the content. It doesn't work, and it's not fair. We ran a little bit in this trap for some time. Just introducing new historical trees
Yes.
will be enough for us. It's not quite. We never stopped, but we could have tried harder on new gameplay modes, you know, esports and competitive game, you know, clan wars, social features. So yes, our game is mechanic and social features around it, like competitive gaming, clan wars, etc. Plus content. Content is easy. You understand, we could have opened the doors for any suggestion, send even more people to museums, and bring you 200 more tanks. We deliberately now slowing down this process because we're overdoing it.
Yeah.
I see.
You know, plus the balance, you all know, also because of new tech trees, also because of premium tanks, the balance is a little bit broken, so we're deliberately slowing this down. Yes, we have to release something, you know, new tanks from time to time, but future speed will be slower, not because we cannot produce more. There's even Brazilian tank called
Yes.
Nahuel, which sounds very, very funny in Russian, in Polish probably too.
No?
Nahuel is, in Russian, sounds very, very dirty.
Oh,
Like very, very,
Oh.
very taboo.
you know, not something he's going to translate for you, is
No.
what he's trying to say.
Yes.
Yeah.
But again, we, right now we'd rather focus on rebalancing on what we have. Maybe for that, I'm not giving this 100%, but the sentiment inside our remake improvement team is that, guys, let's just stop doing new tanks. Let's fix this balance in between the current classes and roles. Most probably we will be moving philosophically from classes to roles. Because if you take IMX 50B to mouse, they're both like heavy, tier 10, but they're so freaking different, right? And we should have done this probably earlier. This is our mentality now. So certain rebellions will be given more distinct roles and gameplay styles to tanks rather than to throw in whatever Croatian tanks. Probably we can find a bunch of Croatian tanks too. Yes, so we would rather, I mean, as we would rather focus on improving the mechanic, balance, technology, whatever graphics, and all those other things. People, social features, this chat, whatever physics, all those, which is fairer to our players. It's easy to throw more content. People will always buy those tanks. There will always be some people who will buy Croatian tanks if we throw them in. But we deliberately, at least for 2016, our focus, I'm telling you honestly, is the game mechanics itself and the balance. The matchmaker rather than throwing new tanks is easy.
Am I the only person in the world who doesn't have a problem with the matchmaking?
I don't mind the matchmaker.
I think the matchmaker is fine.
No, I like the matchmaker.
I would stay at the content topic for a moment. You showed us, or you brought in the past some fun modes like the racing or the football game or the 8-bit mode with Carl last Christmas. So it's, I guess, over a year ago, where you...
Last time was 2013.
Yeah, where you brought the last fun mode. Are you left this concept and are not willing to bring such modes in the future? Or?
We understand these are bells and whistles, right? It's like Fool's Day and everything. Football, like I liked and I played football big time. It's good, but here we have to. I'm going to tell you. Here we have this, Russian community, and the sentiment today is like, guys, okay, football we get it. Like Fool's Day we get it for a couple of days or a week you can play this, but why don't you fix balance? Or matchmaker, or this one. It's a trade-off.
Yeah.
It's because we are in so many territories with different, let's say, requirements and tastes. It's a balance. So right now, because in order to continue patch number 66, 67, in order to refactor, to upgrade graphics, to upgrade gameplay mechanics, and etc., we need production capacity. And we need to grow the team. Well, by definition, Destiny's team is 500 people. All the tanks is smaller than that. I mean, the development team is smaller than that. It's 300-ish people. It's not easy. There's so many challenges and problems of different business problems and management problems, organizational problems to increase number of people. And yes, there were a couple of decisions to sacrifice fun mode, and those people would rather do something which is more painful. You have to make trade-offs. They're not easy. I like football. I like fun modes. Everybody likes fun modes. It just, if we keep doing fun modes, we may not do something which is really, really urgent and painful today. And matchmaking is painful when you have like 3 tier 10s and 5 tier 10s. It's painful.
Oh, okay. Well, that doesn't happen that often, though, does it?
Yeah, or sometimes you have 4 artilleries.
Okay.
Well, it does sometimes happen that
Okay, there are problems. We can see those problems on our VI side, and some parts of the community, especially those who are more competitive, and looking at their stats, we have some signals that it's not perfect matchmaking. Yeah, because the technology behind it is very old. When we had 100 tanks and much smaller number of players, now with 500 tanks, much more maps, and older, more mature, experienced professional in tanks. Community. This old technology needs to be changed or modified.
The map rotation could use a bit of work.
So map rotation is actually a good topic because it's always one that we are hearing in the community team a lot. What is your take on maps right now? What's happening to maps, especially removal, reintroduction, new introductions?
I think with maps it's very easy to get into like a small numbers problem where you get very frustrated because you get maps that you don't want for an evening. But when you easily forget about when you get on proper rocker with your scout tank and When you look at it holistically, I think the maps are one of the strongest parts of World of Tanks. It adds so much variety into the game. Specifically for me, I look at each game as its own little puzzle. Oh, the enemy team has this, our team has this, I'm playing on this map. Where do I need to go to be able to counter these players on the enemy team and assist these players on my team? It's like a game of chess, right? And if World of Tanks didn't have that huge amount of variety, it would just be like another Counter-Strike, right?
A lot less interesting.
It would be Counter-Strike. Now, Counter-Strike is a great game, but could I play 30,000 games of Counter-Strike? No, not so much. It's the variety that goes into it for me. And so I'm always quite scared about the idea of changes to the matchmaker, changes to any kind of map rotation or the variety that would come into that. So.
But we have been removing a couple of maps. What's your take on those removals?
Some were good, some were not so good.
Some of the maps were removed because they were a problem for specific people's clients, right? Dragon's Ridge, I think, was removed because it had
That's one example.
Yes.
Let me tell you this. Okay, historically, Russian community is 1 year advanced, and they're a little more fanatic about tanks, and we have more people who look at statistics and very competitive. And Russian society in general tends to be very polarized on various topics.
Yeah.
And when the thing is that it's a good problem to have those millions of players. They view World of Tanks as a part of their lives. Like it does not belong to wargaming, and this is by the way true. It does not belong to us fully anymore. It's theirs. They have already invested years of their lives into getting their tanks and statistics and this. And if something in their minds is unfair, be it matchmaking or be it a map or be it usually it's the team. Like everybody perceives that he's the D'Artagnan, as we say, and the rest of the guys are like lobsters, and he's the only one. Once again, statistically, you have 50-50 chance of having a bad team. And they have this couple of modes which show your statistics, and so there's always food for complaint or impression for complaint and fairness. So Russian people are very justice oriented. Okay, they want to portray themselves as justice people. So if something is injustice, they're going to do crusade against it. Well, only a couple of topics are taboo. But be it a film, be it Americans, be it whatever Japanese food, be it a game, and especially when this injustice is happening to you on the battlefield, like, okay, I'm artillery and I'm in Himmelsdorf, that's a good reason to whine. Yeah, if we filter this unreasonable whine, still now we see that certain, especially artillery, and some elements of matchmaking and some imbalances in maps, they have reasons. And you did not have this problem after 1 year of operation and just like a million of players playing a game. But after 5 years and dozens of millions, it accumulates, and 500 tanks, it accumulates just statistically. I suggest we make a couple of minutes of buy break, right? Okay. And then we come back.
Okay.
Here, okay? Let's do 5 minutes, please. Pure.
And that is pretty much it. I hope you guys have found these videos interesting. I realise that watching a bunch of people sit down and talk about a game isn't necessarily to everybody's tastes. Nevertheless, well, they've given an insight into why wargaming do the things that they do. And also some sort of hint as to where wargaming are likely to be taking World of Tanks in particular in 2016. The emphasis isn't going to be so much on introducing lots and lots and lots of new content, although that doesn't mean they're not going to be introducing new content, but they're going to focus more on fixing the things that many people believe are wrong with the game. Anyway, that's it for today. I'll be back tomorrow with a World of Warships video reviewing the 2 new Pan-Asian destroyers that have been introduced into the game, or have been introduced into the game, the Lo Yang and the Anshan. That's coming up tomorrow. In the meantime, take care, and as always, I'll catch you next time.